would you please make very, very welcome Suzie Rose?
I'm going to tell you about a story from when I was 22 years old. I was on a 12-month backpacking adventure around the world, all by myself. And partway through the trip, I did a couple of weeks in Turkey. Trust me, a couple of weeks was enough. No offense if you're from Turkey or if you're married to a Turkish person, but I was getting a bit fed up with being touched randomly on my fair skin by the local men who leered at me nonstop. So I was done with Turkey. I just wanted to get the hell out of there. A few other backpackers and I were on a bus on the way from Gallipoli back to Istanbul, which was a full day trip, I think. And I was that sick of being in Turkey that I just wanted to get back to Greece, which was the nearest country. So on the back of this bus with the other backpackers, I was flicking through my Lonely Planet and there was a map of Turkey. And I realized that the town that we were just about to arrive at was a lot closer to the Greek border than what Istanbul was. So with the logic in my mind, I figured that I might as well get off the bus in this town rather than go all the way back to Istanbul, because then I'll get to Greece a lot quicker. So the other backpackers thought I was crazy, and I just waved them goodbye and pretty much said, "See you later, suckers. I'm going to get back to Greece before you guys." And I hopped off that bus and I waved bye-bye. And then I stood there in this little Turkish town. It was a dust bowl. And I thought, oh dear, what have I just done? There were no other women that I could see and no other Westerners at all. I realized pretty quickly that this was a military town in Turkey where no one spoke English. So I thought, that's okay, it's just for a short time. I walked into the bus terminal, which was a small building, walked up to the counter of a little office and said, I want to go to Greece, Grecia, Greeka, and showed him my map. Ah, no problem. 4 o'clock, bus, 4 o'clock. Ah, great, thanks, 1 ticket. So I got my ticket to get on the 4 o'clock bus to get back to Greece. And I waited for a few hours patiently. And as 4 o'clock came, I sat outside on the bench seat waiting for that bus. I was so excited. Couldn't wait to get out of there. 4 o'clock came and 4 o'clock went. Whew, not very timely in this town. It's 4:30, no bus. 5 o'clock, no bus. 5:30, no bus. So I went to the man in the office and said, excuse me, where's the 4 o'clock bus? And he said, oh, no. 4 o'clock tomorrow. I went, what? 4 o'clock tomorrow? Well, where am I going to sleep? Where do I sleep? He said, no problem. You sleep in my office. So I had to sleep in the guy's office on the floor. I didn't actually sleep at all because I was too busy crying and feeling sorry for myself. I spent the night writing letters home, delving into my journal, expressing how miserable I was sleeping in this office in this creepy town with all these creepy people. And it was a horrible moment in my life. But the next day came and the sun was shining and I was so excited because I was finally going to get out of there. So as the 4 o'clock bus was about to arrive, I sat out on the bench with my big backpack, waiting excitedly, dreaming of all the conversations I'll have when I find someone who could speak English. 4 o'clock came, 4 o'clock went, 4:30, 5 o'clock. Oh dear, this bus is so late today. went to the man at the counter. Where's the bus? 4 o'clock bus? And he said, oh, problem, the problem. Bus is broken. I went, what? The bus is broken? What the hell? Where am I going to sleep? Again? Oh. And he told me I had to sleep there again because there were no hotels in this town. So I unpacked my stuff, spent a second night in that godforsaken office by myself, too scared to even go out to the toilet because I had to walk through this half-empty terminal building with creepy people everywhere. So I won't go into detail about how I went to the toilet, but it wasn't a real toilet. Too much information, sorry. But instead of spending that night crying and feeling really sorry for myself, I spotted a telephone in the corner and I thought, oh, there's a phone. I wonder if it works. So I went over and picked it up. I could hear a dial tone. Oh, I wonder if I could dial out. So I punched in the numbers to call Australia, 00617339, and I phoned my family, and Mum answered. Hello, Mum, it's me. She was so excited. Where are you, darling? You wouldn't believe it. I'm in this little town in Turkey. I'm the only woman, as far as I can see, and I'm the only Westerner. And guess what? I'm sleeping in a bus terminal for my second night. Don't tell me this stuff, my darling. And she was terrified and horrified, but I convinced her that everything was fine, very bravely. After speaking with my mum, I then rang my grandmother and my grandfather and talked to them. And I rang pretty much everyone whose phone number I knew off the top of my head. And it was a great night of social connection using the telephone in the man's office, because I was starting to feel like he had told me a little porky. And no, I didn't really care about the man's phone bill because I had this intuition that he was dishonest with me from the beginning. That third day came along and 4 o'clock was approaching. So I had all my stuff packed and I was excited to be waiting for the bus again. And incredibly, it actually turned up. So I waved bye-bye to that man in the office, hopped on the bus, and incredibly, the backpackers who had been on the bus when I originally hopped off it in that town were on that same bus. It was amazing. They were equally surprised to see me. They said, what are you still doing in this town? We dropped you off days ago. I said, I know, long story, please don't ask. Apparently the bus broke down yesterday and didn't come the day before. And they just laughed because they said, well, this bus service from Istanbul over to Greece only comes twice a week, so you've been had. And I just felt so ripped off. That man at the office just wanted me hovering around so he could have this, little Aussie girl staying in his vicinity for two or 3 days. So I was very relieved to be on that bus with fellow backpackers heading to Greece, and finally I got there and back on my journey to more civilized countries where I could speak English with people and get on with my travels. So what I learned from this incident was, from our darkest and most miserable moments in travel time and experiences that just make you cry, come the strongest memories and also the best survival stories. So I'm glad I went through that. It made me a stronger person, and I never ever in my life would call that little town home. Thank you.